Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jason. I'm a private chef here in Boston, Massachusetts, and today we're going to be taking some pâte choux, that French pastry goodness, and we're going to be doing it up Southern Gent flavor style, a little bit my technique, couple of regular technique, and pretty much just a reason to eat eclairs if I want to be honest about it. So look, after we get the flour added in here, we want to mix that around. Don't use a whisk because we don't want to be adding air to it or anything like that. We just want to make sure that we're getting all of the liquid ingredients fully incorporated into the dry ingredients. We do that by mixing things around. So you can see here, it's mixing together really well. It's going to come together almost like a Play-Doh a little bit, but not as thick. But now we need to put it back onto the burner because we need to dry it out a little bit. And we're going to do that. And we're just going to keep moving around the burner. If you need to slide it back and forth, do so. Just don't keep it directly on the heat because we're also trying not to cook anything that's inside of it. We're just removing some of the moisture. You'll start to see that moisture come up even more and more in the evaporation. And here, when you take a look at the bottom of the pan, you can see the film that started to develop. That's exactly what you want. Now, don't scrape it off like I'm doing because we don't want those bits getting into our pâte choux, but I was just showing that, for the visual effect. Alright, so now it's time to cool this baby down. We need to drop the temperature because after taking off here, we're going to be adding eggs to it. We don't want to cook the eggs, so mix it around in a stainless steel mixing bowl. That's going to help pull the heat out and it's going to cool it down quicker. You want to get it down to at least below the 140s range because any of your proteins, your eggs, they will cook. They're going to coagulate at that point. So just keep mixing it. Finger test will do. If you have a thermometer, test it. If not, go get a thermometer because you should have one anyway. Now look, after adding each egg, you're going to notice after you mix it up a little bit, it's going to kind of pull apart. It's going to look like it's broken, and broken is what they say in the chef world when all of your ingredients just kind of pull apart, especially when you're using fats. But that's not what we're looking at here. It's not broken. We just have to add a little bit at a time and get everything incorporated. And then once we get to that last egg, you'll see my last egg is scrambled, and that's because I'm only going to add a little bit to get to that final consistency that I want. Finger test time. So how are we going to know when the dough is ready? Well, we're just going to take a little bit of it, put it between our fingers, and pull it apart. Now, if we do not get a flop over, if we have stiff peaks, then guess what? We don't have enough moisture. Put it back in, and we're going to add some more scrambled egg. Yo, this is exactly the peak flop that we're looking for. You can see where it's actually fallen over on the side. This just means we've reached our moisture level content. We're good to go. So we're going to transfer all of this into some piping bags, and we're going to pipe out some eclairs and cream puffs. Now definitely make sure before you even start piping, see what I'm doing here, use some of that batter underneath your parchment. Hold that parchment down in place, because if you don't, when time comes for you to start piping out your eclairs or your cream puffs, and you go to pull back and away with this piping bag, you're gonna keep pulling your parchment back and all over the place. It's just gonna be a mess. So trust me, get parchment paper and do exactly what I just did. Now we're just gonna take our time piping out. So I'm in contact with the paper, but I'm also letting the gravity of the batter help me and pull these things out. That way I'm not kind of creating scrunchy spots on the parchment paper, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about the first time you try this. So again, take your time, take care of your back. So if you're in a standing position, make sure the tray is pulled close to you. If you need to sit down, sit down. But just be very aware of all the ergonomics involved in cooking, baking, whatever it is you're doing, because it will make your life a whole lot more enjoyable in the kitchen. Now it's time for a little egg wash to add a little sheen, to just make a little kind of fancier looking on top. Egg wash can also serve as a binding agent. We're using this on if we want to add a topping, say we're making like adding sesame seed or poppy seed or anything that requires it to stick. Egg wash is going to be your best friend. Just try to keep it from dripping too much onto the parchment paper, because it's going to act as a glue and keep your eclairs from coming off. Now say it with me. Don't open the oven. Don't touch it. Don't think about it. You better set a timer, come back at it. You're gonna ruin your eclairs. I told you so. All right, now we're gonna get them out of the oven, but we're not gonna put them in a cooling rack because we're not cooling them. We're just gonna poke some holes in them to release some of the air. So go get an eclair tip for pastry cream, or I don't know, whatever fingernails you had fell off from the club last weekend. And you're gonna poke a hole in it. And then we're gonna do that to let some of the air get out, and we're gonna put them back in the oven, dry them out, because no one wants a soggy eclair unless it's like a little older, and then I'll eat anything you give me. You're about to be real mad, y'all, because I didn't show you how to do the cream, but that's all right, because look at this. Look at that chocolate, look at that sheen, look at that champagne, look at the extra cream coming over to the left. If you're gonna do eclairs, keep that extra cream. It's gonna change your life.